Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I am so tired this morning, but I got a lot to do today. I've got to go to my mom's house, her apartment. Now that she's in assisted living, we're going to have to move all that stuff out of there, all those things that my mom's been holding on to for years. What a task, but that's all right. I'm so glad. My mom is still in the land of the living, and I went to visit her yesterday, and she is doing well. Thank you all who have on occasion asked about my mom. So continue to keep her in your prayers. So one of the things I want to talk about, first off, starting this video, some people have commented on the scripture that always leads into these videos, and I think sometimes I take for granted that people understand what those scriptures mean. So before we begin each video, from here on out, if it is at all possible, the scripture that will lead into the video, I will speak briefly about as we enter into the video. Now, the scripture that leads into this video is talking about not offending my brother. And if eating meat offended my brother, then I need not do it. And people don't always understand exactly what that means, so I will explain it. This hat that I have on right now is turned around backwards. Why? Because some of you all know that my favorite sports teams are all in the Washington area. Have they been doing good? Absolutely not. They have been doing terrible. So I'm not turning this around backwards because I'm ashamed of my team, but this hat is a hat that I've had ever since this team was called another name, which I will not repeat because it may offend someone. And because of that fact, the name of this team has changed. And currently it is called the Commanders. No, we haven't had much to cheer about the Commanders. I'm not even impressed with the new mascot that we have. I think that that's silly. But what does all of that mean, and why is it important for me to turn this hat around? Because if I have offended anybody, if it is in my power not to do so, then that as a Christian is what I should do. So some people say, well, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and that's on them. Well, yeah, if you're a Christian, and if you're thinking that way, then there's something wrong with your Christianity, because Christians are supposed to be Christ-like. And you and I have the opportunity before us not to offend someone over something that is really takes a small effort for us to rectify. So this hat is turned around backwards right now because I don't want to offend anybody. And if it is in my power not to do so, then I will do what I have to do not to do that. Because at the end of the day, people need to see Christ in us. And if they are offended at something that I have done now, people are going to be offended that I even talk about the Bible. Well, that's another issue entirely, because I have to preach, teach, and tell the good news of Jesus Christ. Otherwise, then I have done them a disservice, because if I'm a Christian and I don't tell you folks who want to know about Christianity, then I have lost my way, and what I have done, I have become a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. So having said all of that, let's move on with the video today. This hat is turned around, and I don't want to offend anybody, and I don't want to offend anybody by talking too long, because preachers tend to do that. So one of the things that I have said on this channel from almost the very first time that I saw this car was one thing that I saw when I first saw it that offended me. And I'm going to turn the camera around and tell you exactly what that was. Now, considering this is a 1987 Mustang 4-cylinder car, which was probably used as a commuter vehicle for someone at one point in its life. Now it's not going to be a commuter vehicle, and as you can see, it's taking a different shape. We have the big tires on the back, the smaller ones on the front. It is going to be a drag. It is already on its way to being a drag inspired car. I'm loving the way the new fenders fit up. Thank you guys for tuning into that video, which I believe dropped on Sunday evening, or maybe it's dropping Monday. I don't know. Whatever day it drops, tune in. Remember to like and subscribe and comment. For you guys who want to see these videos and want to keep them coming, if you don't comment, we may not have any. Well, no, we're going to do it anyway, because I don't do it just for likes, subscribing, or commenting. I do it because I'm enjoying what I do, and I want to document everything that I've done on this project, unlike the projects that I had in the past that I was not able to do so. I was not even aware of YouTube when I first did my first Mustang. So what do you notice? The very first thing you notice on any car, if it's coming towards you, is the front. And as we look at the front of Project NotchO looks like somebody took their fist and just knocked it straight in the front. And it's a big dent there. So I always wanted to get rid of that hood, but I have not done it yet. I've been searching online. I've been searching for new hoods. I've been searching for the places that I bought my hoods in the past. And here is the issue. The problem is not that the hoods themselves have gone up in price, which they absolutely have. I think what they're asking for hoods now is probably twice what I paid for the Cervini's hood, which is on in this picture, which was my first Foxbody. That was a Cervini's hood. Matter of fact, I don't think, no, it wasn't. It was a company that's not even in, I don't even think that it's in, it's a thing anymore. It was Boss, I think it was called Boss Hoss or something. But it was not made by Cervini's. I believe it was Boss Incorporated, something like that. I can't remember, but they're not in business anymore. But that same style hood is available. But I wanted something this time. So I've searched the internet. I've searched at all the places to sell Mustang hoods. I've even searched some places that I normally would not look for hoods. I've looked on eBay. I thought about a metal hood. I really would like to have a metal hood, but I know that the fiberglass hood would be lighter, and that's great too. But here's the issue. Like I said, the hoods, if you find a good hood, I found a hood the other day, and the hood by itself was $404. And okay, that's not too bad. But then you put it in the cart and it says, you know, all the stuff that it says, free shipping, any money spent over whatever, $100, $200, whatever, does not apply to hoods because there's an oversized fee. So by the time I put that $404 hood in the cart, the time you put the shipping on it, it's no longer a $400 hood, it's an $800 hood. I don't want to pay $800 for a hood. So what are my options? I can buy a really cheap hood that probably won't fit right. I can suck it up and pay $700, $800. Back in the day, I could get a carbon fiber hood for $700. Or I can buy a hood and drive. Most of the places that I saw that sell the hoods are not in my area, so I'll be driving probably 6, 8, 10 hours of driving for the hood. So at that point, I'm frustrated and I'm burning a lot of gas. So maybe I'm paying still $700 for the hood. So what am I going to do? I looked on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe somebody has a stock hood. I have a friend of mine. I've been asking him for months because his sons took their stock hood off and bought a fiberglass hood. Okay, I'm going to ask him. I'll ask him when I get home. And I've been doing that since last year. And he still hasn't told me whether they have the hood or not. So I'm taking it at this point that he's really not interested in selling that hood, or he would have certainly told them and I would have bought that hood by now. So yesterday I was on Facebook Marketplace. And in Facebook Marketplace, you can also include different sites. Mustang parts in Virginia. There are other, sites within Facebook that will have groups, Mustang groups, parts groups, or whatever. And I found something that caught my eye, and I purchased it yesterday. and I slid it into the back of the Maverick. All you guys who are Maverick guys who watch the Maverick channel, it fit right into the back of my car. And I was grinning all the way home because I didn't have to pay $800 for a hood. Now, this part is used, so it is not perfect. The person sold it to me because their engine combination will no longer fit under this hood, which made it perfect for me. It has a couple scratches on it. That's not a problem because we're going to sand everything down anyway. But we're going to put this hood on today. You want to see it? Let me turn the camera around and we'll unveil it for you right now. Dun, dun, Here we go. Now, the official unveiling of Project NotchO's hood is now upon us. Let's pull off the cover. Ooh. It is a 2.5 inch cowl hood that this person had on his race car. And I hit him up yesterday. He wanted, I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but let's just say it was a reasonable price. I offered him $50 less than what he had it listed for. And he even met me pretty much halfway from where he lived to basically where I live. And I now have a hood for Project NotchO. Has a small scratch down there. That's not a big issue. Like I said, we're gonna, obviously it doesn't match the color of my car, but what is the color of my car going to be? And that is another thing that we'll be talking about in the upcoming episodes, because we have, like I said earlier, we're gonna do something with these fenders. So there may be some Easter eggs within these next videos that will tell you what color we're going to go with for Project NotchO. So stay tuned. But for right now, let me get this old hood on and put, not the new one, but the used one on, because that's what we can afford, and it's a very nice piece. Okay, guys, I did not mount it on there because I'm going to wait until my son gets home, because it's going to take both of us to position it on there properly. That's definitely a two-man job, but I just set it on there for now. And it's a great improvement over what I had. Is it perfect? No. Like I said, it's got a couple scratches on it, but it is precisely pretty much what I was looking for. This has a 2.5 inch cowl. Of course, nothing's going to line up right now because the fenders are not even bolted up, so it's going to be just fine. And we'll have a little bit extra clearance if we decide to go with a Windsor motor. Now, is my car going to be that color? And I'd have to say absolutely not. I'm not a real fan of that color blue, but to each his own. The person who had this hood also had a Chevrolet small block in his Foxbody, and I can promise you, no matter how cheap I can find a Chevrolet engine, none of them is going my Foxbody Mustang LS, small block, big block, or otherwise, because I like to keep a Ford in a Ford, and that's just me. It'd be the equivalent to me turning from a Commanders fan to being a Dallas Cowboy fan, which that's my wife. So we have enough conflict in the house, and I'm not turning over to the other side. But for that, that's all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what you think. If you don't like the hood, tell me you don't like the hood. And we'll go from there. Am I going to change it because you say you don't like it? No, I can't do everything that everybody else likes, because then it wouldn't be my car now, would it? Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.